You wanna die? Die now! Spear him!
You've unlocked a new skill. Upgrade skill to become more powerful.